Hello, and welcome to the part 2 of session 2 of our Macrobiotic or Macro Discovery program. We finish up the part 2 of the theory of yin and yang, of life's energy, basically. And we're going to move into more applications of yin and yang and what that means in terms of food. So let me share the screen with you. And that's going to be this one. And we're going to go into the portion where we finished. And we came after, you had a cup of tea or stretched a little bit. After you've been watching the video session 2 part 1. And we're going to continue our discussion. So, knowledge of the food, its energy, cooking style, and will help you to create a balanced meal. Because out of two extremes of yin and yang extremes, in your life, the disease is happening. When you balance, which rarely happens in modern life, it's hard to be balanced. We bombarded with stresses with what's going on right now in the world. Horrible, horrible stress for everyone, and for some, losing their lives for so many right now. So we need to understand that during the hot, warm, or young temperatures, so climate, summer, late spring, summer, and late summer, we do the more like light cooking, quick cooking, raw salads during the yin time when energy is expanding and making you cooler. You need more contracting, warming energy to create a balance with the environment around us. So let's look into how that happens, really. So look at the summer, beautiful, you're on the beach, sun is beaming at you, you're getting lots of vitamin D, and basically enjoying your life. And it's a contractive energy going down to the earth, because earth is closer to sun at this point, and our portion of our planet Earth closest to sun. So if you add to it yin food, more fruits, more vegetables, maybe raw salads, then you definitely going to create a balance, because this is sugary, that's more expensive yin thing. So there's a balance. If during the winter, when the weather is expensive, the climate is expensive, the energy is expensive. So if you add to it the food that is definitely more contracted, like grilled, baked food, more contractive. We're not showing here the piece of meat, it's salmon, but that will help us to create better balance. Doesn't mean that you should eat that particular product, but giving you an idea of different kind of energies in food. What if in the summer you will eat baked or grilled food all the time? I'm not talking about once in a while. Of course, you're going to eat different kind of foods and have a little bit of fruit in the winter time, and probably some grilled food in the summertime, which is fun to make and to do. But if you do it all the time, constantly, continually, you're going to get into extreme imbalance. The same in the winter. If some people are totally on a juicing or raw diet during the winter, they're creating imbalance in their bodies. And of course, in the summer, think about it, the hottest day of summer is 4th of July. And during daytime, which is 12 noon, we're doing what? Barbecue, exactly. Because later in the day, we're going to watch the fireworks. So we're going to have barbecue for lunch. And this is the worst possible situation for our health. But if it happens once or twice, that's one thing. The only thing is try to avoid doing it often. So can food help you with the balancing your situation? Of course. If someone is very tired and stressed, young, and not able to relax, better to eat a diet based on whole grains, vegetables, and fruits, yin, more yin. But if someone is spacey and forgetful, it's better to be a diet of fruit, vegetables, and whole grains and fish, yang, rather than sugar and fruit juices. So we don't want to create health challenges and then try to balance it out. If that happens, we have to do it. But if not, make sure that you balance properly. So, so interesting. Look at that person, extremely young, stress out. Just want to show you the extreme situation. Contracted like you won't believe. And then he comes home and he said, I want a steak, or goes to restaurant, because I've heard that the best steaks are made great restaurants because they have special ovens and special temperature control and so on and so forth. So look at that woman. She's extremely spacey. Like, what happening? Where am I? Look at me. I'm tired already. I'm so pale. So she's yin, very yin, and she's juicing and asking that question. So how come I'm so tired and fatigued and I don't have enough energy? I had smoothies. Yeah, that's why, by the way. So no, for someone who is so stressed out, it's better to feed that person with barley soup. It's gonna make you so relaxed and feel great. It's probably because I love it. Try it. But for her, root vegetables, it's always better to have a plant-based diet, vegetables and root vegetables. Going to help that person to be more focused. So the weather changes throughout the year, even if you don't feel it outside, like maybe you're in Florida. So it's still temperate climate. It's not tropic. So weather changes a little bit, not a whole lot, but changes, right? So you need to understand that seasons happen. And during those seasons, you basically eat the food that relates to season the most, that is grown locally and really in the season. Doesn't mean that all you eat in spring are few sprigs of grass, of some kind of green products and green vegetables. You eat other stuff, but you dominate your food with more fresh, greeny stuff, leaves. Summertime, all kinds of vegetables. Late summer, you see the vegetables, yes, pumpkins and squashes, they're great. You're not going to eat it all the time. The same in the winter. There's no other. You're going to eat something you buy in the store, of course, and grown maybe in other countries or in greenhouses. But try to complement it with fermented vegetables that you could do during summer or late summer. The same is applied throughout the day. At night, you don't want any food, but in the evening, some relaxing, more, I would say, sweeter type of food. A lunch, all kind of different vegetables. In breakfast, lighter to get started with a balancing process. So you need to understand that all foods are either contractive or expansive in their effects. Doesn't mean they're all 100% contractive or 100% expensive. No, it's what effect they produce in our body. That's what needs to be understood. So how we know which is which? So yeah, how they grow fast, slow, where they grow. But the most important, in the effect they put in the body, but the most important thing is sodium, potassium content. We have to be and have much more potassium than sodium. Check out what the suggestion, I believe, 14:1 potassium to sodium used to be, at least. But right now we have much more sodium than potassium. And potassium, check out the list of vegetables with most potassium. And beans, look at the beans. They have so much potassium, specifically that mushy beans, right? Like northern Italian beans, white beans, they have lots of potassium. So also within category of food, they're going to be more, I would say, contracted, compact parts of food compared to more, I would say, expensive, like nuts. We don't recommend Brazilian nuts. They're too tropical, they're too yin, even though they're supposed to be young because they're compact. It's small, but the nuts like almonds and I would not, and seeds, look at pine nuts and pumpkin seeds, they're great. They're really good for us. Look at the berries, like watermelon is huge, lots of sugar, tons of sugar, compared to blueberries. They're small and tiny. So one of them more sugary, more expensive, which is definitely watermelon. So we don't eat watermelon in the winter time. We eat it when it's really hot and good. Look at the grain. Some grains are larger, some are smaller, so they're qualified. Is that important? If you are healthy, knowing and understanding and not going to extreme with some contracted or other expensive food, very important. But if you are, it's not that important, sorry. But if you have the situation with your health and health issues, you need to watch. I did it when I was diagnosed with my first cancer. That was about 25 years ago. I was on a diet, the macrobiotic diet, that excluded something like watermelon, practically all the nuts, especially tropical nuts, very little small portions of almond nuts. So there's a food chart. And it goes from yin to yang. It doesn't matter, yang to yin to yang. One yin and another portion is yang. So so on the left side you have the blue triangle that shows what are the most yin food that we need to take in, not only moderation, but maybe in some health situation totally avoid. Whether on the yang side we have other kind of food, which is extremely young, and we need to avoid those or take in moderation. Like, for example, Macrobiotic promotes miso, tamari, it's a soy sauce, and definitely uses salt, but it's an extremely small quantities. About 20% of macrobiotic diet is acidic forming, and those are forming, and 80% are alkaline forming. So miso, tamari, which is soy sauce, or shoyu, and salt are alkalining products, but they're very contractive. So we use them a little bit to balance our condition. So what yin actually creates and how yin helps us. So in proper quantities, in moderation, it satisfies thirst. That's why you drink water. It's yin. Cleanses body and cools us down. But what if you eat too much or 8 glasses of water a day? And for too long, what happens? Lowers our metabolism and weakens our body. We become weak. What was yang? Yang, in proper quantities, makes blood stronger and warms us up. So we don't feel cold in extremities and in hands and feet. But what if it's too much or too strong or for a long time? Then it uses constant thirst, hot flashes, constipation, and tension. That's what balance is all about. How you feel. It's not how you feel after you ate one particular portion of one meal. It's over the time you realize that your body and reaction changes. I remember when I started macrobiotics 25 years ago, I love soy sauce and miso. I used it with everything. At some point in time, I noticed that I became so stressful. And my stress, of course, was released on my husband. And he started noticing it and he said, "What happened? You're yelling at me all the time. You're not happy. You are stressed out." I talked with Warren. He was my counselor at the time. He said, "Ella, too much salty food. Too much salty food. Watch it out." I started and it helped. I don't have to explain this. If you not balance, you have cravings. You crave for certain food and you cannot balance yourself. So did you find yourself sometimes in front of refrigerator? And look what's inside of refrigerator, all the food that makes you imbalance. So a stated diet of foods in the middle, that the white triangle, from local fruits to fish, renews energy, relieves stresses, prevents many illnesses. Please read that page and read more about it. So what are the expensive food? All the green stuff, the light porous, usually grow upward, perishable, grow in warm climates, tender, juicy, cool, wet, raw, spicy, sour, sweet, oily. How that helps us? Spiritual development. What is a contractive food? Dense, heavy, usually grow downward, preserve well, grow in cold climates. That's why you can buy on a farmer's market very late in the fall some food and store it in a cooler, cold places or cool places and use it throughout the whole winter. So warm, dry, cooked, salty, blend, bitter. What it helps us with? Purposefulness, focused work, not being stressed, but being more, I would say, focusing on the goals we have. So what are they? They are all kind of vegetables that you use all the time. Need to add more variety maybe. So those are how vegetables grow. You see, they grow either above we use them, the green stuff is above the surface of the earth, and the root part is below the surface of the earth. So if we compare that, so bottom, below the surface of the earth is more yang, above is more yin. That's how you know. Right? So remember that picture from session 1 that we have triple heater? Look it up if you forgot what it is, but there are 3 separate areas: the upper, the middle, the lower. So the lower part of the body is supported by root vegetables, young vegetables that grow below the surface of the earth. The upper part of the body, our lungs and heart, in dire need of yin vegetables that grow above the surface of the earth. So don't neglect the green leafy vegetables. Add them to your diet, to your daily meals. And the round vegetable that are partially on top and partially below are supporting the middle part. Let me show you what it means, what I mean. Look at, let me go into point option, maybe pen. Okay, look at the leek. We don't use the roots. They're too tiny, they have no energy, but this part is the most balanced because it's partially up, partially down, not too deep. And the upper is green stuff. We can mix it together. We can use it separately in different dishes. Look at that carrot. Ah, what a beautiful root it is, carrot itself. But don't neglect the upper part. So when you buy the carrots, try to buy a few bunches or one bunch of with the upper part, not just the root, and use it. Sprinkle it on vegetables, cooked vegetables. You don't have to cook it because they have, 3 seconds and they're cooked. On soups, it's very useful, very useful. Parsley, we love parsley, very bitter in taste. And we're not using parsley's root. They don't have that much young energy, but tulips we love. Look at them being so round, beautifully balanced. So round vegetables considered the most balanced. We use the upper part, not the yellowish, but green, also as green leafy vegetables. This is the part that is very useful. So don't throw it. You're throwing gold. Look at a burdock root. Oh, this root has so many amazing qualities for our health. Make sure you use it. And check out my website. There are about 250 recipes in Russian and 250 recipes in English. Check out kimpira. It uses burdock root. It's such a delicious meal. But all the round, look at the round vegetable. Look at the onion. I'm sure we're using both. Where's my pen? Disappeared. Cannot find it. I see it somewhere, but anyways, here it is. We're using onion and we're using green onions all the time. Green onions, if you don't have it right now at home, you're not macrobiotic. You're not gonna catch me without onions and green onions ever. Look at the pumpkins and acorn squash. It's a beautiful thing. Round, very balanced. Moving on. The same thing exists with colors. All together, they're white. You know that, right? But going from purple to red, they're moving from yin to yang. And black, like I like black clothes, is being extremely young, extremely young. So I try to stay away from black. The same with taste. Pungent, sharp like ginger or garlic, to bitter like spices. And yeah, you see there is a different kind of green stuff, which is bitter, including, by the way, parsley as well. If you have the meal that has all those tastes in that, not necessarily those particular products you see on the screen, it's just an example. There's so many more like that exist for each taste. But if you have them all together, the meal is beautifully balanced. You're not going to have any cravings. But if you eat just one salty food, you're definitely going to have to balance it with sweets. You're going to feel it immediately. And pungent and bitter and sour, you don't want to one taste dominate the meal. You want a combination of this. The same with cooking. Different cooking methods are reserved for different kind of energies you want to build and develop. Microwave, killing energy, cooling, dispersing energy, makes you weaker and weaker and weaker. Frozen, juice, raw. I don't have microwave in my house for, I don't know, now probably already about 30 years. I don't miss it. If you need to heat something up very quickly, stovetop on a pan, you can do it. If you cannot, I have air fryer that has other functions like baking, roasting, broiling, and air frying, of course. Try this. It's helpful for heating up pretty quickly. But the most balancing, steaming, boiling, sauteing, slow simmering, and pressure cooked. Young, contracted, baked, broiled, salt, pickled. So we love pickles in salt, not in vinegar. Pickles in salt. Sounds like in salt. With salt, with salt. This is a very good book, easy to read, understand, by Christina Turner, Self-Healing Cookbook. There's a link to where to find it, but you can easily, on Amazon, but you can easily find it yourself. I would recommend you to purchase it. I have mine always available, always by me. It's a good thing. So yin or yang, the upper row of people, they are determined. They career builders. They want to go and get it. They go getters. There could be, I would say, proud of being extremely multitasking, extremely focused on their careers. And whatever they do, they always focus and go ahead. So what about people in the middle row? They're enjoying life. On the bottom, they totally enjoying life. So I would say they're young, yin, and this row is more balanced. Kind of like for fun. Doesn't mean these people are yang, yin, or balanced, but it looks like when you see someone dressed in specific dress code like the upper row, you understand they're a little bit more assertive. The 7 Laws of the Order of the Universe by George Asala. In his books where he published those laws of the order of the universe, he said, if you understand all 7 laws clearly and absolutely, you can eat anything you want, because you would not eat the wrong food ever, because you would understand what it creates, what it does. So study them. Also, look at how to save life energy. You check it yourself. I recommend not to waste your life energy, but really, really save it, because when you get older, you get more tired and your organs need more energy. So be aware of that. And I love Lao Tzu, by the way. I always have it here by me. Sometimes open any page, read it and contemplate on it, and that becomes a point of my contemplation on it. I don't spend too much time on it. I'm not Zen Buddhist monk in even close in any understanding. But I suggest you read the chapter 2. It's exactly how to become smart about balancing and understanding yin and yang. Okay? So if you can document for a week would be great, but at least till Sunday when we meet again this coming Sunday, if you write down what you ate, and during discussion, we discuss your meals, or during tea time in between different parts of the presentation I prepared for you, we can discuss what you had and talk about it, and you might have questions about it. So that basically it. My presentation. Let me stop sharing and come back to you. So the session 2, part 2 is over, but I suggest you look at PDF file because it has the links, it has more opportunity for you to click on pictures and get more information. And that means education, and more knowledge you have, more healthier you're going to be, because your choices going to be around supporting your health, not destroying it. So make sure you do it. And if you have any questions, you know how to get me. And I hope you'll watch the video. I'm not sure you're going to enjoy it or not, but at least you get some information. And thank you for watching it. And I'll see you on Sunday.